Welcome to KC Production. Today we explore one of the most powerful forces shaping our world, economic power. Before we continue, please like, share, and subscribe to KC Production. In 2026, the global economy has crossed $122 trillion in total output, recovering and evolving through the scars of a pandemic, surging inflation, geopolitical conflicts, and a technological revolution driven by artificial intelligence. But which nation sits at the very top of this colossal economic pyramid? In this video, we rank and analyze the top global 10 economic powers in 2026. Our rankings are based on a comprehensive set of indicators drawn from the IMF World Economic Outlook data, including each country's gross domestic product in nominal US dollar terms, the most widely used global measure of economic size. We also assess economic development levels, infrastructure quality, global trade and investment impacts, technology and innovation capacity, human development index scores, key industries, unemployment rates, inflation trends, and internal security levels. Together, these indicators paint a full picture of what it truly means to be an economic superpower in 2026. We count down starting from number 10 and building all the way to the single largest economy on the face of the earth. Let's get into it. The numbers are extraordinary. At number 10 on our list, we have Canada, a vast resource-rich nation with one of the world's most stable, open and prosperous economies. Canada enters 2026 with a nominal GDP of approximately $2.2 trillion, placing it firmly among the world's top 10 economies. Canada is the second largest country on earth by total land area, and that geography has given it an extraordinary wealth of natural resources that underpin its entire economic engine. Canada is classified as an advanced high-income economy with a highly diversified structure. It's one of the few developed nations that is simultaneously a major exporter of raw materials and a sophisticated producer of manufactured goods and services. Canada's infrastructure is extensive and modern, from the Trans-Canada Highway to world-class port facilities on both the Atlantic and Pacific coasts, major international airports, and the robust energy pipeline networks. Canada has emerged as a global hub for artificial intelligence research, particularly in Toronto, Montreal, and Edmonton, and its tech sector is growing rapidly. Canada is also a world leader in clean energy technology, financial technology, and biotechnology. Canada's economy is driven by the energy sector, holding the world's third largest proven oil reserves. Beyond oil and gas, key industries include automotive manufacturing, financial services, agriculture, mining, forestry, and technology. Canada is deeply integrated into North American trade through USMCA and is also a member of the CPTPP and CETA trade agreement. Canada's unemployment rate stands at approximately 6.5% in 2026, with inflation moderating to approximately 2.5%, close to the Bank of Canada's target. The Human Development Index score is among the top 20 globally, reflecting high life expectancy, excellent education outcomes, and strong per capita income. Canada is one of the world's most politically stable and peaceful nations, a NATO member with an internal security environment among the most benign of any major economy. Canada, at number 10, vast, stable, resource-rich, and quietly indispensable to the global economy. At number 9 is Russia, a nation of extraordinary natural wealth and geopolitical weight, whose economic trajectory has been dramatically shaped by its ongoing war in Ukraine and sweeping Western sanctions. Russia's nominal GDP in 2026 stands at approximately $2.3 trillion. However, measured by purchasing power parity, which adjusts for living costs, Russia's economy is significantly larger at over $5 trillion, ranking it fourth in the world on that basis. This distinction matters enormously. Russia's real purchasing power and industrial capacity far exceed what its nominal dollar GDP suggests. Russia's economy is a hybrid market economy heavily dominated by state-owned enterprises in strategic sectors, including energy, defense, banking, and transportation. The war in Ukraine has forced Russia into a wartime economic model, with defense spending consuming approximately 6 to 7% of GDP. Despite predictions of economic collapse under Western sanctions, Russia has shown surprising resilience through its strategic pivot towards China, India, and the global south as trading partners. Russia remains a dominant force in global commodity markets. It's the world's largest exporter of natural gas, one of the top 3 exporters of crude oil, and a leading global supplier of wheat, fertilizers, metals, and timber. Despite sanctions rerouting trade flows, Russian commodity exports continue to reach Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America in enormous volumes. Russia's infrastructure includes the world's largest railway network at over 90,000 kilometers, extensive pipeline systems, deep water ports, and a nuclear energy sector that is one of the most developed globally. Key industries are dominated by oil and natural gas, accounting for roughly 40% of federal budget revenues, alongside metallurgy, defense manufacturing, nuclear energy, agriculture, and aerospace. Russia's official unemployment rate is remarkably low at approximately 2.5% in 2026, partly reflecting wartime labor demands. Inflation remains elevated at around 8 to 9%. Russia's HDI score sits at 0.822, the very high human development category. Russia at number 9, a commodity superpower navigating isolation, war, and an uncertain economic future, yet still formidable in global resource markets. At number 8, we have Italy, the cradle of Western civilization, the heart of global fashion and design, and the 8th largest economy in the world. Italy enters 2026 with a nominal GDP of approximately $2.4 trillion, the third largest economy in the Eurozone. Italy's economy is larger than many people realize, underpinned by one of the world's most sophisticated and diversified industrial bases. Italy is a high-income advanced economy, but one with a deeply uneven development landscape. Northern Italy, centered on Milan, Turin, and Bologna, is one of the most economically productive regions, home to global luxury brands, precision engineering firms, and a world-class food export industry. Southern Italy lacks significantly in income, employment, and infrastructure. Italy is the 8th largest exporter in the world. Italian brands Ferrari, Gucci, Prada, Armani, Barilla are global symbols of quality and craftsmanship. Italy runs a trade surplus, exporting more than it imports. Also, tourism is a massive contributor. Italy receives over 60 million international visitors annually, generating billions in revenue. Italy's economic strengths lie in luxury fashion, automotive manufacturing, with iconic brands like Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, and Fiat, food and beverages, industrial machinery, chemicals and pharmaceuticals, and defense manufacturing. Italy's high-speed rail network in the north is among Europe's best. Its HDI score is 0.906, very high, reflecting strong life expectancy, high educational attainment, and solid income levels. Italy's unemployment rate has improved to approximately 6.5% nationally, though youth unemployment in the south remains alarmingly high. Inflation has also moderated to approximately 1.8%, one of the lower rates in the Eurozone. Italy is a stable democracy, NATO founding member, and G7 participant. At number 8 is Italy, creative, sophisticated, and rich in heritage, still seeking the economic consistency that matches its extraordinary cultural legacy. At number 7 is France, the world's most visited country, Europe's nuclear power, and a nation whose economy blends state industrial ambition with luxury global brands and cutting-edge technology. France's normal GDP in 2026 reaches approximately $3.7 trillion, the 7th largest economy in the world and 2nd largest in the Eurozone. France is a founding member of the G7, the European Union, and NATO, with an economic footprint that extends globally through its overseas territories and multinational corporations. France boasts one of the world's finest infrastructure systems. TGV high-speed rail network connects major cities at exceptional speed and extends across borders. Paris-Charles de Gaulle is one of Europe's busiest international airports. France is one of the world's top 5 exporters, aerospace and defense through Airbus and Thales, luxury goods through LVMH, Air L'Oreal and Hermes, agri-food products, wines and spirits, and pharmaceuticals. France is home to a rapidly growing technological ecosystem, and Paris is increasingly considered the Silicon Valley of Europe, with Station F being the world's largest startup campus. France's HDI score of 0.920 is very high, reflecting exceptional healthcare, education and quality of life. France's unemployment rate stands at approximately 7.3%, persistently above the European average due to labour market rigidities. Inflation has eased to approximately 1.5% as well. France is a permanent UN Security Council member and nuclear power, giving it an outsized role in global security and economic governance. France at number 7, a global cultural force, economic heavyweight, and nation that views itself as indispensable to the world order. At number 6, we have the United Kingdom. Europe's preeminent financial center, global hub for innovation and culture, and the nation maintaining remarkable economic depth despite the structural shifts of Brexit. The United Kingdom's nominal GDP in 2026 stands at approximately $3.8 trillion, the sixth largest economy in the world. London alone, with its world-leading financial services sector, accounts for a disproportionate share of UK output and is consistently ranked alongside New York as the world's top global financial center. The UK is a highly developed service-oriented economy. Financial and professional services, healthcare, education and creative industries from its backbone. The UK is home to globally leading universities, Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial and UCL, which generate significant economic activity and attract talent from around the world. Post-Brexit, the UK has signed new trade agreements with Australia, Japan and the CPTPP group. The UK is the world's third largest technological ecosystem after the US and China. London is home to more billion-dollar technology startups than any other European city. The UK leads globally in finance, technology, AI, life sciences and creative technology. Companies like DeepMind, ARM Holdings and AstraZeneca are globally significant UK innovations. The City of London handles approximately 38% of global foreign exchange transactions daily, a measure of extraordinary financial centrality. Key industries include financial services, pharmaceuticals, aerospace and defense, creative industries, automotive manufacturing, renewable energy, and digital technology. The UK's HDI score is 0.940, top 15 globally. Unemployment stands at approximately 4.4% and inflation at approximately 2.8%, having fallen sharply from 11% peak of 2022. The UK is a permanent UN Secretary, Security Council member, NATO founding state, and Five Eyes intelligence partner. The UK at number 6, smaller perhaps than its imperial past, but still a global power of extraordinary depth and reach. At number 5 is Japan, Asia's most technologically advanced society, birthplace of some of the world's most iconic industrial brands, and an economy that has maintained global powerhouse status despite decades of demographic headwinds. Japan's nominal GDP in 2026 stands at approximately $4.5 trillion, the fifth largest economy in the world, with India now closing in rapidly. Japan was the world's second largest economy until 2010 when China overtook it, and the third largest until recently. Despite slow growth and demographic challenges, Japan remains an economic giant of extraordinary depth. Japan is a mature, high-income, technologically advanced economy. It pioneered lean manufacturing and just-in-time production concepts that transformed global industry. Japanese corporations like Toyota, Honda, Sony, Panasonic, Mitsubishi, Hitachi, Nintendo, and SoftBank are household names across the planet. Japan has perhaps the finest physical infrastructure of any nation on earth. The Shinkansen bullet train network operates at up to 320 km per hour with an unrivaled safety record. Japan's roads, airports, seaports, and urban transit systems set global benchmarks. The country is also a leader in disaster-resilient infrastructure, a critical capability given its vulnerability to earthquakes and tsunamis. Japan is the world's fourth largest goods exporter, motor vehicles, industrial machinery, electronics, chemicals, and steel. It's also the world's largest creditor nation, holding more overseas assets than any other country on earth, a fact of enormous strategic economic importance. Japan leads globally in robotics, semiconductor equipment, precision manufacturing, and material science. Japan's HDI score is 0.920, reflecting exceptional life expectancy among the world's highest at approximately 84 years. Unemployment is remarkably low at approximately 2.5%, and inflation has risen to 2.5 to 3% as the Bank of Japan cautiously normalizes its long-standing ultra-loose monetary policy. Japan at number 5, defined by precision, resilience, and an unmatched culture of quality that continue to shape the global economy. At number 4 is India, the world's most populous nation, the fastest growing major economy, and the most dramatic economic ascent history and story of the 21st century. India's nominal GDP in 2026 reaches approximately 4.5 trillion US dollars, now surpassing Japan and cementing India as the world's fourth largest economy. This is a historic milestone. A decade ago, India was the seventh or eighth largest economy in the world. The pace of this ascent is simply extraordinary, and every major economic institution projects India's continued climb up the rankings in the years ahead. India is a rapidly developing economic combining a population of 1.5 billion people with a young and growing workforce, a rising middle class, rapid urbanization and structural reforms that have fundamentally reshaped the economic trajectory. India's growth rate of approximately 3.5% in 2026 is the fastest of any major economy in the world. India is undertaking the most ambitious infrastructure expansion of any nation on earth. The National Infrastructure Pipeline envisions over $1.4 trillion in investment across roads, railways, ports, airports, urban development, and energy. India has built a vast new expressway network, launched its first domestic high-speed rail corridor, and is constructing entirely new industrial cities. India's technological sector is world-class. Bangalore hosts the R&D centers of virtually every major global technology corporation. India produces more STEM graduates than any other nation and is home to over 100 technology unicorn companies. Indian origin leaders run Microsoft, Google, IBM, and many other global corporations. India's space agency, ISRO, achieved a historic lunar South Pole landing in 2023. Key industries include information technology, pharmaceuticals, financial services, automotive manufacturing, textiles, agriculture, steel, and a growing defense sector. India is the world's top recipient of remittances at over $120 billion annually. HDI score stands at 0.644, reflecting significant remaining development challenges despite extraordinary economic progress. Unemployment stands at 8% and inflation at approximately 4.5%. India at number 4, the most dynamic economy on the planet and the most important economic story of the next 2 decades. And number 3 is Germany, Europe's largest economy, the world's fourth largest goods exporter and the industrial engine of the European Union. Germany's nominal GDP in 2026 reaches approximately 5.3 trillion US dollars, the third largest economy in the world, having overtaken Japan in 2023. Germany accounts for roughly 25% of the entire European Union's economic output, making it the indispensable anchor of the European economic system. Germany is a highly developed economy characterized by its unique Mittelstand, tens of thousands of small and medium enterprises that are global champions in specific industrial niches. These companies, often family-owned and invisible to the general public, are world leaders in precision machine tools, specialist chemicals, and industrial automation. This deep industrial base gives Germany an economic resilience that few nations can match. Germany has one of the world's finest infrastructure systems, renowned autobahn motorways, an extensive rail network, major international airports in Frankfurt, Munich, and Berlin, and the ports of Hamburg, one of Europe's largest container ports. Germany is also undergoing a massive energy infrastructure transformation, rapidly expanding wind and solar capacity as it transitions away from fossil fuels. Germany is the world's largest goods exporter. Its exports portfolio is dominated by motor vehicles and parts, industrial machinery, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and electronic components. German companies Siemens, BASF, Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Bayer, Bosch, and Saab are global technological leaders. Germany's HDI score is 0.942, top 10 globally. Citizens benefit from universal healthcare, high quality education, strong social security, and the world's most effective vocational training system. Unemployment stands at approximately 3.4% and inflation at approximately 2.2%, both well managed after the turbulence of 2022. Germany is a founding NATO member, core EU state, and a key pillar of Western unity in response to Russia's war in Ukraine, having committed to the historic Zeitenwende in its security and defense policy. Germany, and number 3, the workshop of Europe, the engine of the EU, and an economy defined by quality, precision, and enduring industrial excellence. At number 2, the People's Republic of China, the world's manufacturing powerhouse, the fastest economic ascent in human history, and America's only true near-peer economic rival. China's nominal GDP in 2026 reaches approximately $20.7 trillion, roughly two-thirds the size of the US economy. However, measured by purchasing power parity, China already surpasses the US at approximately $43.5 trillion. China accounts for approximately 17% of global economic output and has driven roughly 30% of all global economic growth over the past 2 decades. China's economic transformation over 45 years, from an impoverished agrarian economy to the world's second largest, is without precedent in human history. Over 800 million people have been lifted out of extreme poverty. China has moved from low-wage manufacturing into advanced industries, electric vehicles, semiconductors, AI, space technology, and clean energy. However, in 2026, China faces significant headwinds: a property sector debt crisis, a rapidly aging population, slowing domestic consumption, and escalating trade tensions with the US. China has built the world's most extensive infrastructure network in the shortest time frame in history. It has the world's longest high-speed rail network at over 45,000 kilometers, more than all other countries combined. It has constructed the world's largest ports, longest bridges, the 3 Gorges Dam as the world's largest power station, and hundreds of entirely new cities. China is the world's largest goods exporter, with a trade surplus that reached record levels in 2025. In electric vehicles, BYD now outsells Tesla globally. In solar panels, China produces over 80% of the world's supply. In artificial intelligence, China leads in patent filings. In 5G, Huawei has deployed networks across dozens of countries. China's HDI score is 0.788. Official urban unemployment is approximately 5.1%, while inflation is remarkably low at approximately 0.5%, reflecting weak domestic demand. Key industries span electronics, steel, chemicals, electric vehicles, renewable energy, financial services, e-commerce, and telecommunications. China at number 2, the most consequential economic rise in history and the defining challenge to the Western-led economic order. At number 1, the United States of America, the largest, most productive, most innovative, and most globally influential economy in the history of the world. The US nominal GDP in 2026 stands at approximately $31.8 trillion, accounting for roughly 26% of the entire global economy. The US has been the world's largest economy continuously since the 1980s. Since the 1890s, a run of over 130 years of uninterrupted economic supremacy, its nearest rival, China, remains roughly two-thirds its size by nominal GDP. The United States is the world's most advanced and diversified economy. It combines the world's largest financial markets, the most powerful technology sector, a massive and productive agricultural base, world-leading energy production. The US became the world's largest oil and gas producer, and an unmatched capacity for entrepreneurial innovation. The American economic model, competitive markets, strong property rights, deep capital markets, and a culture of risk-taking has proven extraordinarily durable across more than a century of global upheaval. The US has the world's most extensive road network, the largest aviation infrastructure, major port systems on both coasts and the Gulf, a continent-spanning rail freight network, and the world's most developed digital infrastructure. The Federal Reserve's interest rate decisions ripple through every financial market on the planet. The US dollar serves as the world's primary reserve currency, using approximately 88% of all global foreign exchange transactions. US corporations are the most valuable in history. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, and Berkshire Hathaway collectively represent trillions of dollars in market capitalization. American technology dominance is comprehensive. Silicon Valley leads in AI, cloud computing, semiconductors, biotechnology, social media, and space exploration. In 2026, companies including NVIDIA, OpenAI, and Google DeepMind are defining the global frontier of AI. Key industries driving the American economy include financial services, technology and software, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, energy, aerospace and defense, retail and consumer goods, agriculture, entertainment and media, and real estate. America is simultaneously the world's largest oil producer and the world's largest consumer of energy. The US HDI score is 0.97, top 20 globally, reflecting the world's most advanced healthcare technology, elite universities that attract global talent, and the highest per capita income among large economies. Unemployment is at approximately 4.2%, close to full employment, and inflation has moderated to approximately 2.8% after the Federal Reserve's successful soft landing from the inflation crisis of 2022. The US is the permanent anchor of the global economic and security order, leading NATO, the G7, the IMF, the World Bank, an international trading system that has underpinned global prosperity since World War II. The US, at number 1, is there because for over a century, in 2026, still the undisputed engine of the global economy. And there you have it, the global top 10 economic powers in 2026, ranked by nominal GDP and assessed across economic development, infrastructure, trade, technology, human development, key industries, unemployment, inflation, and security. From Canada's resource wealth and stability at number 10 to the sheer unrivaled dominance of the US at number 1. These 10 nations together produce more than 2/3 of everything the world creates and consumes. They are the agents of global prosperity, the anchors of the international financial system, and the primary shapers of humanity's economic future. But the story does not end here. The rankings are shifting. India is rising faster than any major nation since China's own ascent. Germany is reinventing its industrial model, and China is pressing relentlessly forward despite structural headwinds. The next decade we will write these rankings in ways we cannot fully predict. If you found this video informative and valuable, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to KC Production for more powerful, data-driven content on global economics, politics, and international affairs. We have more great videos coming your way. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware. This has been KC Production. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to KC Production for more amazing content and premium storytelling.